What is your definition of climate change? Do you think it's real?
I have seen it. It's been raining since February? It used to be April showers bring May flowers, but like February, May. But they're saying the ice caps are melting, and then you have people, no, they're not. They are. It's like evolution. If you don't believe that we all evolved through time, even through the past 100 years, we've gotten taller, things happen, your lung capacity gets better or worse, depending on where you are. To me, it doesn't make any sense if people don't believe it. If that's what you want to believe, that's fine. I've seen it where when we were younger, it snowed every winter. Like if it would snow, you'd go sledding. I try to reduce my carbon footprint. Wherever I live, I want natural light. I don't like having on the light. I think the natural light is so much more important.
Energy, you think we'd be sick? I'm running out of energy. See, we use that all.
What up, world? It's Legrand. Welcome to this edition of Keep That Same Green Energy podcast. As we always do, we like to have our guests introduce themselves. Jess, would you introduce yourself to America?
My name is Jennifer Rowland. I am one of Legrand's longest friends, best friend, known him for many, many years. My man right here.
Yes, indeed. We always start the podcast with that connection, the connection between Legrand and the guest and Legrand, the guest and climate action or the climate movement. So, Jen, what would you like to share about how we met, how long we've known each other, something funny that you can reference about our past, with the understanding that I reserve the right to edit it out before it goes public.
Listen, I've known you since, I want to say 1986. Was it 86?
Are you bringing dates in? You can't
Oh,
do dates because they can do the math. These are smart people.
But I'm not telling how old we were.
No, well, I mean,
1986. We were 4.
All right, go ahead.
All right. So actually,
You gonna cut that out? You got that date out.
so I have a friend. We had gone to camp together. I came home to stay over her house for the weekend. And lo and behold, I meet this brother around the corner. And I'm like, yo, what's up, whatever. He's like, yeah, I'm going to ranch camp. And I was like, hey, you going to ranch camp?
No, say what you said. What black people go to ranch camp?
I was like,
What is you on, bro?
Exactly. I was like, you going to ranch camp?
Like,
Like, the same
wasabi,
thing. I was like, okay. I was like, so you get your own horse and everything? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, oh,
He was
okay.
probably like, he is a little too excited about the
Yo.
horses right now.
I know. He was like, I can't wait. And I was like, really? But okay. So that's how I met him. And then while we were in camp, you see this. He had to be like the only black dude
Oh, I had to be.
on the horse. I was like, okay.
Yo, don't get it messed up. I was straight Django up in there.
Right.
You know?
And see, y'all had ranch camp was like, that's all you did.
Right.
That's all you did
Yeah,
was
you ain't
horses.
doing no
No.
crafts. You ain't doing
Nope.
arts and crafts. None of
No,
that.
see,
Horses.
in my camp I was in, we did all of that and we rode horses. So it was like, we rode horses, but we only rode horses like an hour a day or something like that.
Yeah.
This brother was on the horse all day, day. Taking care of the horse,
So,
everything.
but it's interesting. But so after that though, our mutual friend, Tanika, right?
Tanika.
So I guess when you kept coming back to visit her, oh, what's up with you? What's up with
Yeah,
Chris? Blah blah blah. And then we
course.
started kind of hanging out, and then we got closer there. We've been friends since.
Yeah, I love his mother's lasagna.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yo,
I ain't start off with no friends with him. I was like, your mama got lasagna?
You're like, let me say what I need to say to get some of that lasagna.
Right.
So what do I gotta come by?
Right.
All good though. So for me, and Jenny knows this already, but to America, Jen represents the true definition of what a best friend is. We've been through different things with our families, different things in our lives, the different relationships that we kind of witnessed each other go through, and I've been supportive and in some cases not supportive,
Right.
for the right reasons. But when you think of the definition of best friend, that's what Jennifer has been since we were really young kids. It's interesting. Her household, every time I would come to visit her, it was like going to Venus, because there was like no guys. Like it would just be like 12, 14 girls at that time, but women eventually. Like, oh my God, it was just like it was just like overexposure to estrogen. But it helped me learn a lot about like, relationships, because of how, what I learned from them and what they wasn't going to stand for, different stuff. But I think when I think of the one thing that stands out in my mind right now, there's a million things, but for this podcast and this PG, I would say that what I really appreciate about Jennifer was my senior prom.
Right.
So what makes it so funny to me is Jen at the time was totally not the person that would want to get dressed up and go to a prom.
Not
like
at
it was
all.
it would have been like I was asking her to like build a bomb to kill me. Like she's like, oh, but it's for you, so I'm gonna do it. Like, but she was like, all right, so I'm gonna do it. And we knew we were gonna have a good time, but it was more like just the whole dressing up and the problem circumstance and all that. She was just like totally not it. And what makes it so funny, I don't know if you've seen if you probably seen it, but that prom picture, your face is, you're smiling so like, if you don't hurry up and get that camera off me.
And y'all need to hurry up. I can't keep this small.
No, but that's why I appreciated it so much, because I knew like every second you were just like, I just want to rip this off.
Oh
and
God!
put like some sweats on or stuff like
and
that.
And that was not cute back then.
No, they did not do you justice with that. They did you dirty with that. But nonetheless,
don't you ever?
We had a good
time. That picture.
Oh, it's going over. It's going over the credits.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Hey, keep that same greenenergy.org if you want to see that photo.
Say no.
Start the petition now. Listen, at the end of the day, low key, I really don't want them to see me. Damn.
She's both times like.
What a glow up after 30 years. So I really appreciated that. But that was like a point where, our friendship was so like, that's the stuff we would just like, look, I really do this, but for you, let's do it.
Can I just say one thing?
Sure.
So I just want to say the kind of, no, you don't want this cut out. This is really, really like, where we always knew we were best friends and stuff, but what solidified, honestly, and I was thinking about this earlier, what solidified the relationship I knew we would have forever was, when I was going through some things, this brother right here would come pick up my clothes and get them washed for me. Do you remember that? And you were like, what do you need from me? And I'm like, listen, I don't even have time to go wash my clothes. He would pick up my clothes for me, take them to the laundromat. Of course, he had somebody else wash them, but I don't care. I don't care. No, I mean, just the fact that, something that simple made so much sense. And it was so simple, but it was so necessary at the time. And that was it. I mean, I didn't have anybody else doing that. Not saying somebody else wouldn't have done that for me, but when you called me and was like, what do you need from me?
Whatever you need.
And I tell you what I need. It's just so simple. All right, I'll come by. Just have them ready for me.
Facts. Just like this podcast.
Exactly.
Hey, Jen, I need you to get on the podcast.
I was like, well, okay, because it's you, okay.
Right, but you're like,
yeah, right.
So you can see the consistent theme in our relationship. But so we had talked a little bit earlier about, so for the podcast, we usually ask guests, your connection with Legrand is whatever, but what song comes to mind that either your relationship with Legrand or first time you met him or an incident or something that happened, an event. And I was particularly excited about the song that you chose. Now, we're both big Jay Dilla fans. Folks that know, he and I were born on the same day or whatever. But can you give a little bit of a background into the song that you chose and why you chose this?
Stakes is high. De La Soul.
Great song.
Love that song. I mean, I thought I was telling him earlier when it comes on my Pandora, I'm playing it like 5 or 6 times. I just listen to it. The words mean so much, and it reminds me of you so much because you didn't care what the states were against you. You were going to continue to do. You've been doing this for so many years. You have never stopped. It didn't matter how much they were against you, or everybody wants to be a superstar, and you just do what you love to do. So even though those stakes were high, you were like, it doesn't matter. I'm going to continue to do what I want to do. It's not for the people. It's for you. It's for, and it gets to the people. But it's mainly what you want to do. You love to do something, you do it. You don't wait for other people to do it for you. You know what I mean? So you're not going to sit around and wait for the big people to come around and be like, hey, you're going to be the next star. Guess what? It's okay. Because you're going to do what you do. Wow. And you spit hot fire. Like you've been excellent from day one. That's why I love you. Yeah,
I wish I had written a check for this. No, but you guys are catching the real moment in real time, because I didn't draw that connection to Stakes is High for you. I thought it was, when you think about when our friendship started, we were big native tongue fans, huge native tongue fans. Obviously Dilla's work, throughout his catalog and different stuff back then, but that is such a testament to literally what I'm doing right now. There's a lot of people that won't get on this podcast because they're just like, I'm not going to say that they don't believe in what it represents, but they feel like there's bigger issues for us as a people to be talking about. And I'm like, if the planet ain't here, ain't gonna be no racism. You know what I mean? I mean, the planet ain't here, ain't none of the other stuff you're talking about. So, but I appreciate those words. And excuse me, the other piece of it is, because we're big Dilla fans, and on this podcast, as you know, when the guests tell me what song that they connect with an association with Legrand, then I get a chance to take that song and kind of chop it up and manipulate it for our segment later in the podcast called Fill Bars or Fill Jars. And that's the segment where, I'll take that beat, flip it into something that we can either freestyle rap over. If you're up for that, the guests are open to do that. You got written bars too used for that. But it's kind of like when you tie the church, it's like, if you're not going to spill bars, you got to cut the check. So we'll be receiving your check. So look forward to that segment of the podcast. All right. So now, getting into a more relevant discussion, I've been asking a lot of so in the spirit of keeping that same energy, keeping the same green energy, keeping the same energy, being consistent. The internet sends me a lot of feedback and says, how do you feel as a people, how we should respond to, it was recent allegations. Now we've seen firsthand that P. Diddy has put his hands on Cassie Ventura, but my question is, should we keep the same energy towards Puffy's catalog that our people had been asked to do with Ara Kelly, C. Breezy, and others? Like, what's your opinion? Hot seat.
So we were talking about this a little bit earlier, talking about his catalog. His catalog includes a lot of people. Now, should I judge his artist by him? Absolutely not. Okay. I was never, like I was saying before, I didn't listen to P. Diddy like, oh, I want to,
him the artist.
Him the artist. I didn't watch his shows. I'm not saying I never liked him. That's not what I'm saying. But I never did that. So I never supported him in that respect. But I guess supporting him with his catalog. But I have to look past that, because it's the musicians or the rappers, the hip hop artists and stuff that matter in all of this. And what he was doing was taking advantage of all of that the entire time and putting it on the backs of them. So how can I, as supporting my own people, say that I'm not going to support these people? That means Mary J. Blige, that means Biggie, that means Jay-Z. That means and the list goes on and on and on. We even talk about native tongues. We talking about everybody that he has touched in some kind of way, whether he made a beat.
He might have physically touched us. I just want to clarify.
No, I mean, no. If we want to get into the whole,
we don't want to.
Yeah, because I don't want to get into that. Yeah,
don't shut my podcast down.
But but when it comes to supporting his catalog of artists, if I like the artist, I'm going to support him. But just because he did something with somebody doesn't mean I like their music. You know, if I didn't like Mary, I wouldn't listen to Mary. It wouldn't make a difference because I never listened to her in the first place. Same thing with R. Kelly. Like I was saying earlier, I never listened to R. Kelly. I know he's touched people in their music. And
you've never sang an R. Kelly song before?
No, there's like a couple of them.
Okay.
Yeah, Step in the Name of Love. I say Step in the Name of Love. Oh, that's okay. No, I don't even dance. I don't dance to that music, to his music. I was never an R. Kelly fan from the beginning.
Okay.
So it was not hard for me to be like, I'm not going to support him. I know he's had a lot of artists that he's done because he was Aaliyah, and I am an Aaliyah fan, and also Missy and people that he's worked with. I get that. Okay. Those are people that he worked with, but to me, they have what he did and kind of person he is and everything has nothing to do with them. So I have to support my people as long as I want to listen to their music.
Okay. So cancel culture says you got to throw the baby out with the bathwater. Like everything's got to go, if puppy so much is grazed up against somebody, can't. No, I'm just saying.
Am I following the code? Am I following what everybody else tell me to do?
What I'm saying is,
jump off a bridge. Am I jumping off a bridge?
What I'm saying is, I am conflicted.
Okay.
I am honestly conflicted. For similar reasons, I don't think you should throw the baby out with the bathwater, but I feel like Bad Boy Records covers a lot of artists. Mm-hmm. And how do you disassociate the artist from the leader, from the person who created the sound, from the person who, basically, not single-handedly, but that merging of R&B and hip-hop. I mean, you mentioned Mary, Faith, like there's a whole host of artists on that catalog. And I think that it's hard for me to like you looked at it as Puffy the artist. Oh shit, I don't got to listen to none of his stuff. He was terrible. But I'm saying Puffy the person, Sean Combs. So the fashion I can't wear. I can't listen to anything that's been on Bad Boy Records. I can't support Making the Band or whatever. Like everything that he's associated. There's liquor brands and stuff that. So I'm asking the audience, I guess, is where do you draw the line? Particularly if you're supportive of cancel culture, where do you draw the line as it relates to Sean P. Diddy Combs and you're boycotting or sending the message to him? Because with cancel culture, you're typically trying to stop the funding engine. And so music is one thing. Obviously, he's produced some different shows. He's into fashion. He's into liquor. I mean, the Ciroc is trash, but that would be easy to avoid. And like I had this conversation with another guest, and off top, I was like, I can give up Diddy's catalog until you get the Biggie. It's like I can't, you know what I mean? So I'll just say for right now, I have been intentional about not playing any of his music. Mm-hmm. I don't drink Ciroc or any of the liquor brands that he's for. I have never worn a Sean John in my life. I don't know. I mean, there's probably some shows on TV that I might have seen that he might have his hand in, but again, I'm interested in hearing from you folks to help me, kind of stand on business one way or the other. I think the challenge with the catalog, much the same with R. Kelly. Now, I'll tell you, R. Kelly, I wasn't a big fan of his either, but a lot of people are like, oh, I never play R. Kelly. It's like, oh, see, you dance stuff in the name. What are you talking about? Like, what are you talking about? And then the stuff he did with Jay-Z. So right now, I'm still conflicted, but I'm leaning more towards, if I'm supportive of cancel culture, I would not be financially supporting P. Diddy, and I won't be listening to anything affiliated with Bad Boy Records.
Okay.
That's just me. That's just me.
I get it. I get it. However,
okay.
If your father were a murderer,
Okay.
would I judge you for that? Would I stop being your friend because of that? Would I stop going out with you? Would I quit my relationship with you because of that?
That's not the same, though.
No. It's listen to what I'm saying. You're judging. That means I would be judging you.
Hold on.
Because of your father.
We're not judging Diddy. The facts are there.
No. I said judging you because of your father. Meaning that I'm judging his artist, and I have moved myself from this artist because of him. That's what I mean.
I'm not punishing the artists, right?
You are when you don't listen to them, and you don't support them. They don't get paid.
And this is again where I'm conflicted. I am an artist, right?
Right.
And so if somebody said, "Hey, I don't want to listen to the Grand stuff because he supports Diddy," I'm not gonna listen to the Grand stuff. I'll be like, "Well, that's messed up."
Yeah.
But again, we are in cancel culture, and the way cancel culture moves, and you're talking to a climate activist, so we move economically to make the needle move. And so unfortunately there ends up being a lot of collateral damage. Listen, let's keep it a buck. Let's keep it a buck. As it relates to climate action, if I was to shut down the grid or something like that, it would be a lot of people that would not have power, that probably don't have anything to do with it. But I'd be like, okay. Somebody got me again. That's when you're an activist. It's like it's just collateral damage
until it affects you, and then it's like, wait a minute.
And now I'll cut the solar.
Like just like you said, look, just like you said,
you want to cut the grid. And guess what? I got solar.
Just like you said, if people were like, oh, I don't want to listen to Legrand because he messed with Diddy or whatever like that, then you lose out on that. But here's the thing. Now I don't know how all this musical stuff works and all this production and all of that stuff, but the artists need to start taking control of their own stuff. So that's how you empty the bathwater and not throw the baby out. Okay, because you got to save the baby after the bathwater, because you can always replace that. So you have to try to get these people to understand that now it's important to get your own stuff, to somehow take it from him. Because if you don't want to support him in certain ways, you're going to have to take things back. I don't wear Sean John, like you said. I don't drink Ciroc. I don't eat none of that stuff. So for me, I'm not doing anything if I don't do it, because it's like, oh, you're not. I never did it, so it's okay. But yes, supporting his artists or the people that he got started or the music that he produced before, I have to look beyond that, and I have to look at how they're getting fed, how the artists are feeding their families and how they're living and all this other stuff. I know Diddy is getting something on top of that. So what do these artists have to do to get from under that? Because it's their job now to be able to get from under that so we can continue to support them.
So maybe the answer is, and y'all tell me if this makes sense, maybe the answer is you can listen to any of the music up until the infractions happen, and then beyond that, you can't listen to it. So then maybe,
now you can.
I'm just saying, that's. Y'all tell me what you think. Keep that same greenenergy.org.
Nobody is going to feel the same about everything. So I can't say to you that you're wrong.
Correct.
Right? Because if you don't want to support, that's on you.
Correct.
And that's good. That's good that you stand by what you believe in.
Right.
But if I feel a certain way or a different way about it, if I was to sit here and be like, F that, I don't care, P. Diddy, he can do whatever he wants, he can be whoever he wants, and whatever. That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying at all.
Put that disclaimer out.
That person right there is a disgrace. What he has
Yeah.
done has been a disgrace.
Right.
You know, but his artists are the people I'm concerned about because it's like that's their job. You know, people think
That's
that
how
people
they
have
eat.
money.
That's how they
Yeah,
eat.
people think that they have money, I'm gonna have to do anything. These people work hard every day, just like we do. We go to work. You just don't see them. They're in the studios. They're producing. They're going out for movie scripts. All kinds of stuff. These people are trying to do. So when we don't support them in that manner, it's a downfall for them because of this guy. Just because of what he stands for.
So two things I'll say. One is to segue back into the climate action piece. The first thing is, I get it. Like, people have to make this. So I'll segue. I'll say that much the same as my decision to approach this whole podcast as much as I can be carbon neutral as possible, right? There are people that are like, why would you drive 14 hours from Atlanta to Philly when you can fly in 2 hours? And my response is, that is not a carbon neutral approach. Right. And what would the podcast about climate action be saying? That would be contradictory, right? So it'd be like almost like a conflict of interest, or it would seem pretty much hypocritical. So much the same is people's decision about how the definition of cancel culture is that. Like, I mean, that's what the definition of cancel culture is. It's like, yeah, I'm trying to take money out of people's mouth. They shouldn't be affiliated with a crew up this person, whatever they did, and that's what. And I'm not saying I agree with cancel culture wholeheartedly. Mm. I think that there are aspects of cancel culture that align to climate activism. And that is hitting people economically where it hurts to push the needle in the direction where you think it should go. And when we think about the planet, I think that there is not enough pushing on the powers that be, even though we have a lot of political and economic clout that we can leverage to push it in the right direction. So when you talk about, if people come at me and say, oh, okay, well, Legrand, how you gonna feel when your power is out? I'm going to cut the switch back on because I got solar, right? Because I'm thinking sustainably, because I don't want somebody to have power over me to the point where they can dictate whether I can get a cold beverage out the refrigerator or not, right? Or be in non-air conditioned environment. But I need more people to think that way. And so I'll just leave it to the audience to say, give us some feedback on how you feel. Not so much about the Diddy thing, because that's subjective, right? Yeah. But in terms of your carbon footprint and the things that you want to stand on business on, I'm very fortunate that I have an EV. I have an EV that emits zero emissions. I have to make several stops, so normally, it wouldn't be a 14-hour trip to Atlanta. It might be 8 or 9. Right, but I have to stop frequently, right?
How fast are you driving?
I got Tesla.
8 or 9?
I'm saying I got. Oh well, I don't know. I know it won't take 14 hours, but I'm fortunate where I can leverage that, right? I can leverage zero emissions vehicle. I can't do that if I take a plane. In some cases, some trains, I can't do that. I could ride with somebody that has an EV, but we're still driving, right? Mm-hmm. So I think, to the audience, you could chime in whether you think that is absolutely insane to do, or that if you're a person that, you want to stand on business for what you believe, sometimes you have to do things that are very uncomfortable and to some people seem absolutely insane to do. But in my mind, it's very, very clear that the only way I would be able to get in front of these folks specifically for this podcast is to mitigate as much of my carbon footprint. I'm using natural light here. Any other power is being used by the solar generator there. So, and again, I'm not saying I got it all figured out, but that's my approach to it. So jumping back into why we're here. So we asked our guests, what is your definition of climate change? Do you think it's real? What is your overall opinion of climate change?
Climate change is real.
Okay.
I have seen it. My husband and I were just talking about, it's been raining since February? It used to be April showers with May flowers.
Right.
It's been February, March,
every
April,
month flower.
May. They're saying the ice caps are melting, and then you have people, no, they're not. They are. I mean, it's kind of like evolution. If you don't believe that we all evolved through time, even through the past 100 years, we've gotten taller, things happen. Your lung capacity gets better or worse, depending on where you are. Yeah. So, to me, it doesn't make any sense if people don't believe it. Okay, if that's what you want to believe, that's fine. And you're like, whatever, I don't care. I won't be here in another 50 years or whatever. If that's how you want to feel, that's how you want to feel. But I do think what you said was very relevant in saying that reducing your carbon footprint and the way that you can do it. I've seen it where when we were younger, it snowed every winter. If it would snow, you go sledding. We had to go to school. You know how your parents would be like, I walked 5 miles just to get to school. And you like, no, you didn't. Shut up.
That's why I ain't ready.
Right, exactly. So when we were younger, we had to go to school. I went to, I never forget sitting there waiting for them on the radio. All Philadelphia public and parochial schools are closed.
That was the worst when you're.
They never said parochial schools. I went to a Catholic school, and I would be like, "Are you serious?"
Our Catholic school never got cold.
Never got cold.
They were like, "Go on, get on that trolley, bruh. Get on over."
We'd walk, and then my dad would be like, "Oh, before you go, make sure you shovel the front." I'm like, "For real?" People would come around and be like, "Oh, we want to shovel for you." And my dad would be like, "No, they can do it. I got 4 girls in here."
You should have got that big ass dog Kanai. Sidebar.
Leave my dog
Sidebar. Jen, growing up, Jen had the biggest Alaskan Malamute. Oh my God. So if you saw the Twilight series, what the wolves look like, that's what Kanai looked like. He had blue eyes, right?
Oh yeah, he was a beautiful dog. He
beautiful dog, but he would give you that look like
he was called Kanai because he was always on your leg saying, "Can I get some?"
Oh, I forgot how horny he was. Oh my God, he's too cute.
People like, I'll be like, people embarrassing and stuff. They be like, "Get the dog off me!" I was like, "Get off him."
Yeah, you had to spay him.
Oh,
he was a huge star. He would have been. He would have been hurt.
He just be sitting there like dogging people's legs. I was like, Jesus.
Oh yeah, no, her dog Kanai, man, that thing. Oh my God, it's like Clifford. It's like Clifford with a fur face. So finish your thought on that.
Okay, so I forgot where I was, but where I want to say where I try to reduce my carbon footprint is wherever I live, I want natural light. I don't like having on the lights. Good. And I will have this open from the time I wake up. If I wake up at 6:30 in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, this is open until the time I go back to my bedroom.
Nice.
I keep it open at all times. I even try to open up some of the ones in the back, even though I won't be back there. But I think the natural light is so much more important.
Definitely for the carbon footprint, it definitely makes sense. Interestingly enough, when I woke up at Mark's place this morning, he's got windows all alongside his house. So, but here's the thing: I didn't get in until sunrise. Sunrise was already up, so I had to get a mask over it because otherwise, the whole room is it looks like noon at 6 a.m. But it's great. That's what I would love. I've got windows I've got a ton of windows in
Mm-hmm.
my house, but the light doesn't come through the way it comes through
Yeah,
here.
because you
and
have
through
yours.
this.
Yours are all on the
Oh,
side.
yeah, on that one
is
side.
Yeah,
Is that
yeah,
the north face of it?
yeah.
I can't remember, but it's like 30. It's like 38 windows. They just on the
Right,
wrong
they just
side.
on the wrong side. No, y'all on the wrong side. Y'all should get on the other side.
We should have fixed that.
Yeah, but I that's one of the things I do. I also, even since I've gotten older, I just don't need to leave the house, so I don't drive my truck unless I'm going to work.
Okay.
Meaning, like, I don't get up and go. You know how some people, I just want to take a ride.
You don't
I
do
just
that.
don't
You just
do
walk
it.
instead.
What?
You walk instead? No.
What?
No.
What, I walk right here? Did I just say I'm older? I don't feel like it anymore. It's not that I don't, but I don't have anywhere to go.
Okay.
Like years ago, maybe I had somewhere to go. Where do I have to go? I have everything.
So work is
that I
closed,
need.
so
Yeah.
you could just.
So I'll drive to work because I drive into New York to work,
Okay.
and that's only 3 days a week. And while I'm at work, we actually have the hybrid vehicles,
Oh, that's
which
nice.
they're about to change over to a full
electric.
EV. Yeah.
Okay.
And some of the vehicles are, but we only drive those when like if I have to go out to a scene. So it's not like I'm driving around in that all day or all night because I work overnight. But it's not like I'm driving around in it all night.
Okay.
We were talking about recycling earlier, and
A little bit of a pain point for me.
so it's a little, I don't know.
Can you compost it? You mentioned composting earlier.
No, I just know some people
Do it.
Yeah, and I wouldn't
like even in
do that here.
urban settings and townhome communities, stuff like that, people find ways to compost. I'm not there yet.
I'm not there yet either.
Yeah,
I'm not there.
I'm a work in progress too.
I was gonna say you don't change a person overnight. Things have to come to our time. It's the whole thing with climate change and everything. It came over time. It didn't come overnight.
Correct.
Everybody has to work toward making things better. And and I can honestly say, I'm telling you, we may talk about these millennials and whoever they're called now, I don't even know.
Yeah,
but those folks are getting stuff done. Honestly, they are. Not that we didn't, but in our time we fought for something different. At our parents' time, they fought for something different. Everybody's fighting for something different, and we're still, fighting for racial equality. We're going to be fighting for changing and eliminating, well, not eliminating, but lowering our carbon footprint forever. That's a long time goal. That's not something that's going to happen overnight. So you have people who at one point didn't care, because you didn't care. When we were younger, we ate food that had exactly. No, that's not even because I ate mud pies. I did. They were good. Anyway, off of that.
I would just say that, like, that's you're absolutely right. So I've been on record on the podcast saying I totally neglected that generation. Like we've known about different things that we can do to reduce the carbon footprint for 30 years, and I learned about it in school, even in elementary school. Like, I knew things that we could do, and I just didn't do them. So when I go to climate strikes and stuff like that, and I see fifth graders crying and stuff like that because they believe that their life is going to be cut short because people aren't taking climate change seriously. That was part of the reason why I agreed to take kind of this on. And the purpose of the podcast, and you kind of led into it naturally anyway, is we want guests to be representative of the population, right? There's a lot of gens out there that are either doing the same as you, less as you, but getting them to say, you know what, let me commit to doing one thing to try to reduce my carbon footprint, or to try to go against, climate change. One we joke about all the time, like you say, oh, if I eliminate beef from my diet, is that going to change it? Yes, it is. And it doesn't mean you got to do it cold turkey, but to start saying, I'm going to commit to it and be intentional. I think what we're hoping to do with this podcast is just start the discussion, start getting more and more people to commit to doing one thing. And then maybe the next season, we'll talk about some of the things that we can do, more active things we can do to kind of push the powers that be to to make some changes.
Yeah.
But-
Because I was going to say the powers that be are the ones who are, making the prices. Like, you want to, you're saying that it's the people who are in charge who are hitting us in the pockets. And unfortunately, they're hitting us more in the pockets in the neighborhoods where people can't afford.
Correct.
My cousin says now Whole Foods is whole paycheck. You're going in there
Wow.
and you're buying more quality food. But back in the day, before they started, making everything with preservatives and everything, that's what we were eating, and it was cheap. It was cheaper food, but it was good food. But because they had to make it in greater quantities and make it last longer, they started putting all these preservatives in it. That food was expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're going back to organic food, and now that's expensive. So people can't eat the way they should. And honestly, do you want to compost a bunch of this stuff that has all of that stuff in it?
No, that would all
Exactly. Like, it just creates this methane and just stuff like that. But, the people, the powers that be have to stop hitting people where it hurts. If you want us to make this change, you have to make things available to everybody, not just the people you want. And people have to also realize that, what, you might go and your banana might be not as green when you go there, like it wasn't picked right off the tree. That's okay.
It'll be there in a couple
Buy
months.
it and eat it, okay?
Right.
Because that means you can take it home and eat it right away.
Right.
But a lot of times people, we don't get the good fruit and stuff. And I get that. You're not getting the one that just picked off the tree, but doesn't mean you still can't buy it. You still can't eat healthy.
Correct.
Buy it. Eat it right now. Fruit was not meant to be saved for weeks and weeks. I mean, it was meant to be purchased and eaten.
That's right. And eating right now.
So even if you eat meat 5, 6, 7 days a week, and I'm just gonna tell you, I'm not gonna stop eating meat, but I'm just saying, but if you eat meat 5, 6, 7 days a week, and
eat meat like that.
but if you do that, instead of eating it 5, 6, 7 days a week, eat it 3 days a week.
Correct.
Just like you
gradual.
said, it's just exactly. I'm not saying change everything. I'm never going to be a vegan. And I know people say never say never, but I'm going to tell you now, I'm never going to be a vegan.
I tried the vegan thing, and I had to give up cheesesteaks. I was like, it's not.
There's certain exactly. So listen. People who can do that amaze me because I'm like, wow, that is excellent, and they do it, and they do it so well, and good for them. But that probably, because let me take back never, because that probably will not be one of the things that I ever accomplished in my lifetime. It's never been a goal of mine at all. Like, I love vegetables. I love fruit. I can eat vegetables and fruit all day long.
Nice.
But I'm going to need good old cow and some chicken.
So just, and I don't want to make an assumption that the audience understands the impact of the cattle industry or just livestock in general on the climate. It's literally cow farts. Cow farts, the concentration of methane that cows are generating is significant, notwithstanding the fact that the amount of grain and feed that they need to fatten the livestock is enough to stop world hunger by itself. So it's like we're just doubly, and then you've got places where there are rainforests supplying the world's oxygen, and they're clearing those trees to make room for cows to fart and mess up the environment. And we're using the feed supply to feed the cows instead of feeding the human beings that need it. Mm-hmm. So it's really, again, I get it. I'm with cheesesteaks too. I get, beef is, you don't have to give it up. But like Jen said, you could say, look, I don't have to eat beef every day. I could maybe do it twice a week. Yeah. But all that little momentum is what we're trying to generate with not just the podcast, but as we talk about this movement, is we really want at least every person to try to be one change one thing, be intentional about it. And I think that will move us in the right direction, get us in a better place. So keep that same green energy, visit keepthatsamegreenenergy.org and sign up. There'll be some resources there for you to learn about different ways that you can. There's a lot of literature out there about different things that you can do. Listen, I'm not expecting everybody to advocate for soil drawdown, which is basically a way that you can pull the carbon out of the atmosphere and kind of filter it through the soil. That's something that we could do tomorrow and probably mitigate a lot of this risk. But I'm not saying we're there yet. But I know that we have a lot of economic power to push for the things that we want. I just voted a couple of days ago in Atlanta, and one of the things that was on the ballot was kind of like an inquiry into how people feel about climate change and dollars being spent for that. So voting is another way you can get your voice heard relative to that. So keep that same green energy. So Jen, this is the final part of the podcast. Well, I'll say this. Before we get into
never know what he's gonna come up with. I'm just saying.
Before we get to the spill bars and fill jars portion, which you clearly said you're gonna write a check. Any other comments about the podcast, the climate you want to share, or any closing comments?
I just want to say I'm so proud of you.
Really?
You already know that already. I don't say, I don't share my feelings all the time. No, but I really am. I'm proud of you because you have continued. You never stopped. Like,
thank you.
I think maybe it was probably like 5 years that you were doing whatever and I was doing whatever, and we kept in touch here and there.
Mm-hmm.
But it just happens. And then, like when we caught up again, I was like, "You ain't never stopped."
You
saying he ain't grown. I mean, no,
he ain't grown in height neither.
No, that was a rap. That was a rap back in '86 or '80. I don't know. But we was 4.
Yeah, exactly. You were 4 years old.
Yeah, just that whole, like, you didn't care what other people thought. He didn't do what other people did. He wasn't out there getting drunk, getting high, nothing. He just did whatever.
Life.
Yeah, I mean, and I appreciate that. I love to see what you're doing. I support it. And he knows one thing. This camera right here is the bane of my existence. I don't like being on camera.
Well, that's what I was about to say. I'm proud of you for getting through this whole thing, and you would never know that you were uncomfortable in front of the camera. So
I was like, oh God,
I'm leaving it all in.
Camera. But I'm good.
Leaving it all on camera.
I'm good because it's for you. It's for you, and I've always believed in you. Was it? You retired last year, right?
From music?
Yeah. Kind of. Well,
yes.
Everybody says they retired.
Yes.
They just be like 5 years later, like, bro, did you really retire?
Yeah.
So, and you have some people saying, how does someone retire from that, but they're not like some big superstar? How does someone retire from their job? They might not have been president or the CEO, but they still retire. This is what he has been doing forever. You put in your work, and you continue to, and it's a great thing. It's a great thing, and
I appreciate that. Thank you. And as I mentioned, I'm very proud of Jen for being able to sit through this podcast and not. We ain't sweating because the air got cut off. But no, this was not something. Again, the theme is consistent, right? It's what we do for each other, even if we're uncomfortable. It's the way we support each other. I really appreciate your support. I really appreciate your feedback on this. Always appreciate the support. So we're going to cut to the still bars or fill jars part of the podcast. We're going to have to shoot that separately because she's not going to do it.
I ain't going to do it.
But you will be pleasantly surprised with how I have flipped your Stacey's eye sample. So,
and I haven't heard it yet. So
yeah,
I can't wait.
I'm going to get her reaction on tape. Until then, everybody be well. As always, keep that same green energy. Keep that same greenenergy.org. Sign up. Stay tuned for the podcast. Give us any comments or feedback. And we'll see you next time. Salute.
It was great.
What up, y'all? I couldn't ask for a better gift. So my best friend Jennifer has agreed to do the podcast. And the song that she chose, believe it or not, was Stakes is High by De La Soul. So it gave me an opportunity to cook a little bit. So let me see what I cooked up a little bit. Sure. Welcome to the post-Dre era. Everybody capping ain't the most fake ever. I ghostwrite bars for most, I make better. I'm getting to the chicken and ruffle and shake feathers. Climate haters treat me like a fake Greta. I sell out the metaverse and overtake Meta, the professional. You know I make feta. I'm just warming up like when you take sweaters from Michigan lake weather. What are you doing for the climate? You can't find four-syllable words to rhyme with. I'm the CEO of the record label I signed with. Socials you can tag who you want. I'm it. I got it out the mud like a swine pit. I'm the one your lady wants to spend time with. I don't run with people I don't align with. You know it's Legrand, I understood the assignment.
No matter what you're trying to do, go higher. No matter what you're trying to do, go higher. No matter what you're trying to do, go higher. No matter what you're trying to do, go higher. No matter what you're trying to do, go higher. No matter what you're trying to do, go higher. No matter what you're trying to do, go higher. No matter what you're trying to do, go higher.
Energy, see we use an awful lot. Energy, you think we'd be sick? I'm running.